All of it settle down. Proceed for orientation, protocol, initializations, paid in the required awareness, and not just activity. Paid in the required sensitivity. Understand the concepts of activity, awareness, sensitivities with regards to you, with regards to your body, mind, breath, and particularly the breath system. The breath system should be doubly sensitive, and you should be also doubly sensitive about the breath system. Open out the field for the teamwork led by breath and breath system, breath awareness. Proceed for initializations, commencements. Of an exhale, extraordinary reaper. Flush out the brain and brawn, flush out the temporality, empiricism, flush out the personal gravity. So that you are fit for internal community activity. Now silently uttering Om. Figure out what is its contribution, how does it contribute, breath by breath, the interactions, inter-responses, inter-participation, will augment and escalate. So it's not only silent utterance, but a silent utterance which resounds. Oh. 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 योगेन चित्तस्य परेण वाचाम् फलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन गोवाकरोतं प्रवरं मुनीना पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि आबाहुपुरुषाकारम् शङ्खचक्रातिधारिणम् सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतम् प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिम् हरिः ओम् Move your head down to the heart and start to direct exhalations. Drop the palms out, open the eyes. I'll be trying to open out what I did on Wednesday evening class. With regards to breath and the nostrils, we have a unique concept. It's not that we have only two nostrils, but we have a concept with regards to breath called swara. Swara, which you also get the concept in music, but there's no relationship between the swara in music and swara here. So I will be trying to further open it out, but at the same time, I don't want you to listen to a discourse. I want you to settle down to a supine position on your own and start going for preparatories. That is exhalation of the three compartments: abdomen, chest, brain. Flush out, wash out, and do whatever conservation, hospitality, housekeeping is required. So I'll talk to you preparatory. I will not be talking about it. So I will be talking about this subject. So you will be engaged in what you are doing as far as your motor activity is concerned. And at the same time, we'll be trying to hear about this concept. I don't want to give a talk about it. However, I will be trying to tell you about it. So the pelvic abdominal region, diaphragm chest region, throat and head brain region, try to carry out your preparatories, housekeeping, conservation, housekeeping, hospitality. Exhalatively and inhalatively. Inhalatively. For a while exhalatively, for a while inhalatively. And you can recycle if you need to recycle in a particular location. Okay, so you'll be carrying out those preparatory preliminaries I've explained over decades and decades and decades. Paralytic system, usually paralytic breath being, etc., etc. So all those aspects, recall, remember, and try to do it. I won't say anything about it. Okay, settle down to Suptayasana, Vatsyasan, Baddha Konasana. You have liberty to change your postures, change your positions. So I won't be suggesting change your positions. Swastikasana, Baddha Konasana, Padmasana, Virasana, Purvottanasana. So you know, bolster spine-wise, bolster across. So I won't be suggesting all that. You will be doing on your own. The concept swara has something to do with the tone of the breath, tone and sound of the breath. The timbre, the sound, the tone. And therefore, for a while, I will tell you to, on your own, block your left nostril and try to use only your left nostril and try to understand the tone of your in breath, in and tone of your out breath when the breath is little sharper. Sharper breath, so the tone will be audible for you or graspable for you. To find out, is there any difference between the inhalation of the right nostril and inhalation of the left nostril, exhalation of the left nostril and exhalation of the right nostril, sound-wise, the tone of the breath, whether it changes between the right nostril. So you will use your hand. I don't expect you to do the pranayamic mudra, just blocking one nostril and then inhaling through the open nostril, couple of inhalations, and try to catch the tone of it, the sound of it. And then you will alternate. The other nostril will be open, and then find out any difference between the sound produced by right nostril and left nostril. Is there any difference between the sound produced by right nostril and left nostril? So you will identify there is a difference in tone. While it is inhalation, there are two different tones for right and left nostril at the given point in time now. It is not that it is universal, that every time, everywhere, anytime, all the time. you will have the same sound. No, it is at a given point in time that you have some sound which is unique and different than the other nostril sound. So check the inhalative tone for a while. Don't just do one cycle because orientation has to take place. And little sharper inhalation, little sharper exhalation. So a couple of cycles of the right inhalatively. You can let go the hand for a while. In between also, it's not continuously. So try to check the sound and try to qualify the sound of the right nostril and left nostril between in breath and out breath. So that's an aspect of tone. So that's also because the swara. That's why it is swara in yoga. It is called swara. Now, our nostrils are not just inhaling and exhaling. It's not just the breath rate, which is only one parameter for modern science and modern pathology. Breath rate. What is the breath rate? Those are normal breath rate. Breathing is normal. Abnormal breath rate. Breathing is abnormal. So they only go for the breath rate. So therefore, they will look at the wristwatch and they will count. Or spirometer and the pulse, the breath rate, pulse rate. Now understand, in human physiology, there is a unique aspect. First of all, there is, the outside, let me tell you, there is something called as Vatanadi, Pittanadi, Kapanadi. If you are little oriented to Ayurveda, we have these basically three grades. Vatanadi is on, Pittanadi is on, or Kapanadi is on. When it is Vatanadi, it is corresponding kind of breath, tone of the breath, not only breath rate, but tone of the breath. When it is Kapanadi, there is another tone of the breath and maybe breath rate as well. So Vatanadi, Kapanadi, Pittanadi. So in Ayurvedic diagnostics, they catch hold of your pulse unlike an allopathic doctor. The Ayurvedic, classical Ayurvedic, not today's Ayurvedic doctors, all are not Nadi specialists. But generally, it is expected that they know it, that this is Vata Nadi, this is Pitta Nadi and Kapha Nadi, and then combinations thereof. Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Pitta, etc. So, the Nadis are different. One Nadi will be operating at a time. You don't have assorted Nadis working simultaneously. So, there will be something pronounced, and that's called a kind of Vikara. Vata Vikar, Kapha Vikar, Pitta Vikar, etc. So the breath is also corresponding to Vata Pitta Kapha Vikara. Breath corresponds to Vata Nadi functional operative or Pitta Nadi operative or Kapha Nadi operative. It is going to be different kinds of breathing. So we are under this Vata Pitta Kapha Nadi and our breathing will be changing. The tone of the breath will be changing. This is for you to experiment back home. If you understand whether you are Vata Prakopa or Pitta Prakopa or Kapha Prakopa or Vata Prakriti or Kapha Prakriti or Pitta Prakriti or Vata Nadi going on, Pitta Nadi going on, Kapha Nadi going on. So over a period of time, we'll have to do this experiment and understand that yes, the tone of the breath does change. Inhalative and exhalative sound. Let's go for a while. Listen, now next one is you will block one nostril with say pranayamic 4 fingers or 2 fingers, and the thumb side nostril will be, look here if you don't understand, come on, get up. Get up. The edge of the thumb will be inserted just at the gate to open it extra open, but not to deviate the sternum, septum, and the other nostril will be closed. So one nostril closed, one nostril extra open by inserting the edge of the thumb. Check your inhalative sound and exhalative sound. Then you change over, the other nostril will be opened. So you can change your hand for your right nostril to be opened, you can use the right thumb. For left nostril to be opened, you can use the left thumb. and other nostril should be blocked. Other nostril should be blocked. And find out extra open nostril. Now, this was not extra open, it was just open. Now, extra open nostril, whether the sound changes. You have to compare the first module and second module with thumb and without thumb. With thumb and without thumb. Whether extra opening of the nostril and that Shwasanadi clearance, whether the sound changes. Have you understood? So the first module has to be tried, alternated by second module with the tip of the thumb, opening that nostril extra. Only take care your septum is not deviated, nostril is not deviated. And now check the sound between the two. So there are two modules that you are going to try. Okay, lie down. So that was about Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Nadi. That means we have in yoga, there is also Swara. If the Vata Nadi is going on, it is called Vata, it can be called Vata Swara, Pitta Swara, Kapha Swara, as the case may be. So settle down and comment. Hope you have understood clearly. So that is one. Then those are little familiar with Yoga Shastra. You know there are three swaras. Ida, Pingala, Sushumna. So Ida, Pingala, Sushumna correspond to Chandra, Surya, and Shunya. So these are again three nadis. So you will realize that there is a disparity between the right nostril and left nostril more often. One nostril is more clear than the other nostril. Sometimes one nostril is relatively blocked or almost blocked, while the other nostril is open. So while we are doing our breathing, we don't identify. Every time one of the nostrils will be partially clear, other one partially unclear. But because we are using both the nostrils in our business activity of life, we don't realize which nostril is blocked. But when you get a cold, etc., you realize that your one nostril is blocked for either inhalation or exhalation. So nostril can be blocked for exhalation and can be blocked for inhalation because they have different swaras. So that is Surya, Chandra, Shunya. Pingala is Surya, Idai is Chandra. And Pingala means either both even or transcendent. So Sushumna can be also transcendent or both the nostrils even. So these are swaras. Ida Nadi, you know only Ida Nadi, Pingala Nadi, Sushumna Nadi. But there is Ida Swara, Pingala Swara, Sushumna Swara. And the tone is different. So when you realize that your one nostril is relatively open, that means that Nadi is working. And then therefore its Swara is working. So when the Ida Swara is open, the sound is one, then Pingala Swara open. That is, right nostril open is one sound, then the sound of the left nostril, which is also open, equally open, or exaltedly open. So when one of the two nostrils are open, well open, clear, yet the sound is different between the right and left. So there are Chandra, Surya, Shunya Swara, or Ida, Pingala, Sushumna Swara. Now it is possible, permutation combination, Pitta, Chandra Nadi, Pitta, Surya Nadi, Kapha, Chandra Nadi, Kapha, Surya Nadi, Vata, Surya Nadi, Vata, Kapha Nadi, or Sushumna. Sushumna. And at this stage, let me tell you, what I am teaching is not complicated. Your nostril is complicated. Your breathing system is complicated. Not that what I am saying is complicated or science of yoga is complicated. We are complicated. Our nose is complicated. Our breathing is complicated. Otherwise, layman thinks, inhalation oxygen, exhalation carbon dioxide. That's all. So that is another aspect of swaras. Chandra Nadi, Surya Nadi, Sushumna Nadi. So it can be Chandra Prithvi, it can be Vata Chandra, Kapha Chandra, or Pitta Chandra. And similarly to the other nostril, Surya Nadi, or it can be similarly for Shunya Nadi. So understand, we are given very complicated organ. Actually, it is not complicated organ. It is esoteric organ. It is esoteric organ. It is high-tech organ. There is no point in Tom, Dick, and Harry entering a cockpit of the aircraft and saying that this is very complicated. For a layman, cockpit is complicated. But for the pilot or flying officer, it is not complicated. It's a facility for them. It's a great bounty for them. Do you understand? So therefore, nostril is not complicated. In fact, actually, it is high-tech. It needs to be that way because of it is working for human psyche. So understand, Vata, Pitta, Kapha and permutation combination thereof, and then Ida, Pingala, Sushumna combinations. So have you tried both? The extra opened and normally opened. Finishing that, come up. Come on. So we are using little heavy duty breath for us to catch the tone. If it is fine, super fine breath, as in Ujjayi, etc., it doesn't produce sound that which is good for you to really catch. So therefore, I am telling you to do little hypernormal breathing, hypernormal inhalation, exhalation, so that the sound is quite pronounced. And when the sound is pronounced, I want you to identify the sound of the right and sound of the left is different. So that is the tone of the breath and the note. When it is a sound, it is a note according to music. And therefore it is swara. So we saw the table which is Vata, Pitta, Kapha, etc. and combination thereof. And Surya, Chandra, Pingala, Shunya. Ida, Pingala, Sushumna. Now our breathing will be changing. It is not that somebody has 24 hours Vata Nadi going on or 24 hours Pitta Nadi going on. Generally, when it's not a pathological condition, though there is also chakra and Vata, Pitta, Kapha also are in a rotation. So they allocate some time, slot of the day, that this is Vata time, this is Kapha time, this is Pitta time. So slightly get oriented to certain concepts of Ayurveda. Early morning when you get, it is kapha time. Morning time when you get up. And that's why, you get mucus, etc. You see the mucus is collected and that's how you clean your nose and clean your mouth and you see that mucus comes out. That's kapha time. After the sunrise, after a while, it is pitta which will be taking over. Generally, if somebody is in fit condition, it is going to happen. If you have a pathological condition, it's a different thing. Because 24 hours you will have mucus when you have cold. Is that right? 24 hours you will have mucus. But if you are a healthy person, yet Vata, Pitta, Kapha, there is a cycle. And after evening, you get the after sunset, you start getting the Vata time. At night, we are under the governance or dominance of Vata. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha. If you are a healthy person, if you are a healthy person, these are the slots of the day. So ask any Ayurvedic person, and then the person will tell you. So it's a cycle of Vata, Pitta, Kapha going on generally. It can be changed because of your intake, because of your activity. If you decide to do some spot jogging at night, then it will change completely. Rather than going to bed at 10 o'clock, if you start doing spot jogging at 10 o'clock and do some running and climbing the hill at 10 o'clock, then it will be different. You are going to tamper with it. So it will not be going naturally. Or you take your light meals at 11 o'clock, 11:30, it's going to disturb. Depending upon what you have eaten and how much you have eaten. So we dabble with our Vata Pitta Kapha because of our faulty lifestyles or lack of administration in or discipline in lifestyle. But if it is discipline, generally it goes that way. So Vata time, Kapha time, Pitta time is also stipulated. So there is chakra, Vata Pitta Kapha chakra. And we interrupt it, we disturb it because of our faulty lifestyle or some contingencies in life. So somebody wakes you at 10 o'clock, oh, your father is serious, he has to be hospitalized. Then it will shuffle. You have to run around. You'll have to run around. So these contingencies will play with it. And therefore, the Vata Pitta Kapha predominance will be shuffled. But generally, not the case. And therefore, understand Vata Pitta Kapha, they only speak about Nadi because there is no pranayama in Ayurveda. But in yoga, Vata Pitta Kapha is a reality. The chemical changes that are called heels. Chyle in English. Heels. Tridoshas, they are heels. So you might tamper with it. You have eaten too much of say bhel at night, 10:30, you have eaten bhel. It is going to tamper with your chemistry. Or 10:30, 11 o'clock, you have eaten a lot of ice cream. It is going to tamper with your body chemistry. We don't bother. We want to take ice cream, we take. We don't see a look at the time. We want to eat bhel, feel like eating bhel, you don't bother about the time, we eat it. If you eat too many bananas at night, it's going to interfere. If you eat too many mangoes at night, it's going to interfere. So it is going to have say. So that's why Vata Pitta Kapha is a fluid factor. Okay. So we have concept of Vata Swara, Pitta Swara, Kapha Swara. Ayurveda physicians don't have it. They only say Vata Nadi, Pitta Nadi, Kapha Nadi, checking your nadis here. Those who are Nadi specialists. Whereas the breath corresponds to chemistry. So Vata Nadi means there will be corresponding breath. Pitta Nadi will mean there will be corresponding swara of the breath, and similarly Kapha, Vata Pitta Kapha. And then permutation combination thereof, which are possible. This is an enormous monitor, enormous, it's very, very solid state organ to respond. Okay. So you can have Vatanadi, but right nostril, which will be different than Vatanadi of the left nostril or Vatanadi of the Shunya nostril. Kaphanadi of the right, Kaphanadi of the left, the sound will be different. Function will be different. Manifestation will be different. Effect will be different. So that's the permutation combination of those three doshas and three nadis. Okay. Now, as I said just now, if a layman enters the cockpit of the airplane, it is very, very complicated. What will be your remark? So my teaching, you will have such a remark. Oh, very complicated. Yoga is complicated, Prashant is complicated. The more I teach, you say his teachings are very complicated. काय राजेश बरोबर ना? माझं शिकवणं खूप कॉम्प्लिकेटेड असतं. The point is, this is like cockpit of our entire embodiment. The cockpit of the aircraft must be complicated for layman, but for a flying officer, for a pilot, it's a great facility. He can't be flying the aircraft if everything is removed from cockpit. All gadgets are removed and ask him to fly the aircraft. All meters removed, fly the aircraft. He knows how to fly. He knows the takeoff gear. He knows the landing gear. He knows everything. He will not be able to fly. It's a great facility. We human beings are not supposed to be a particular strata. We can evolve and devolve in a great range, and therefore our cockpit has to be not complicated but intricate. So if you think whatever I said so far is complicated, so that's not right. Maybe amendment that is intricate. Why it is intricate? Because this is such a nostril. You can't have simplistic cockpit of the aircraft. Passengers will not board. Will you board an aircraft? The cockpit is at a discount of 80%. Will you board the aircraft? You will not board. And it's a great facility for pilots and flight officers. So therefore, those who are in spiritual pursuit and yoga, it is a bounty. The more you start developing study of the nose, literacy about the nose, sensitivity about the nose, it is going to work well. It is needed. Okay. Now we come to last aspect of it. So go for a change of position and you will continue what you did. And at the same time also, now you can also open both the nostrils. Find out, can you figure out which is clearer, which is less clearer? For the nose up, which is more clearer, which is less clearer. Roll the lips in and find out, can you figure out which is clearer, which is less clearer? Any disparity. If there is disparity, are you able to catch it by its tone, by its timbre, by its sound and swara? You feel and you say, this is more clear and that is less clear. But don't try to identify by sound. Try to relate the sound. This is clearer nostril, this is the sound. Less clear, this is the sound. Don't just sense a clear nostril, unclear nostril. Try to relate the sound of it for your judgment. Lie down. Settle down. Now, if you have looked into Guruji's Light of Yoga, there is that page where nostrils are shown and they are shown 5 elements. This has been put to option by all Iyengar teachers who might be teaching pranayama. That is put to option. And they teach Ujjayi, Viloma 1, Viloma 2, Viloma 3, Anuloma, Pratiloma. They will teach all pranayamas, Shitali, Bhastrika, Kapalbhati. They will teach all other pranayamas which are mentioned in the book. But that which is mentioned by a diagram, Bhuvanesh, you are supposed to use your hand. Now, the right nostril, you know the right nostril is Pingala, Surya. Left nostril is Ida, Chandra. Now, in your Chandra and Surya Nadi, sometimes the Prithvi is working. So when the Prithvi is working, it is one tone. When the up is working, it is another tone. Up, Tej, Vayu, Akash, these are different tones, these are different swaras. Therefore, in Shiva Swarodaya, the text, Prithvi Swara, Up Swara, Tej Swara, Vayu Swara, Akasha Swara. So these are 5 more Swaras of 5 elements. So the Prithvi of the Ida will work differently than Prithvi of the Pingala. And the Prithvi of Sushumna will work differently than Prithvi of Ida and Pingala. And the Swara changes, tone changes, sound changes. So start catching the sound. Go closely, keenly sense the sounds, feel the sound, hear the sound, and try to develop distinction between the sound. Now, in Yoga Shastra, it is said that there is another natural chakra which is going on of Panchatattvas. It is chakra of 1 hour. The Vata, Pitta, Kapha are for the Ashtoprahara. That means 24 hours. That means 3 hours each. Now here, 1 hour each for the chakra. So there is a chakra which changes the breath on its own, Prithvi, Aptej, Vayu, Akash. So each of the tattvas are allocated something between 12 minutes to 18, 20 minutes, 21 minutes. So different duration. Now suppose at the given moment it is Prithvi, it is going to change after a while to next tattva. And then in 1 hour, it will complete its rotation of Prithvi, Aptej, Vayu, Akash. So it can be primary. Suppose Ida is more open, Ida breathing is going on, then you will have Ida, Prithvi, Aptej, Vayu, Akash. If the Pingala is more open, you will have Pingala, Prithvi, Aptej, Vayu, Akash. If you have Sushumna operating, you will have Sushumna, Prithvi, Aptej, Vayu, Akash. So Kapha and Prithvi, Pitta and Prithvi, Vata and Prithvi will be different tones. So also for other 4 elements, Vata, Aptej, Vayu, Akash, Kapha, Aptej, Vayu, Akash, Pitta, Aptej, Vayu, Akash, these are going to be different sounds. So sometimes you will have to enter this laboratory and try to become familiar with the sounds. Now, if you start doing your lum breath, over a period of time, it will become Prithvi. So it will be lum swara after a while because it is Prithvi swara. If you do vam, it will be up. If you do ram, it will be tej. If you do yam, it will be vayu. If you do hum, it will be akash. Now there you know the disparity between right and left nostril. So there is a disparity between the right and left nostril unless it is sushumna. Where it is sushumna, there is no disparity. There is a parity. So understand? Vata, Surya, Prithvi will be different than something different in permutation combination. Kapha, Surya, and Prithvi, it will be different. So the Prithvi, Aptej, Vayu, Akash are further divided into whether Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Ida, Pingala, Sushumna, Prithvi, Panchatattvas, or and then also Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So we are complicated. Sometimes we have Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Prakopa, and then Prithvi, Aptej, Vayu, Akash, pranayamas are done. And then you have right or left nostril open. You cannot be managing that if you do not know that how to change it. These Idapinga and Sushumna Swara, then you will not be able to do it. But if you are able to change the swaras, and that's why if you start doing lum, vam, ram, yam, hum, after a while it will change to Prithvi. So if it is Kapha, Kapha Prithvi. If it is Pitta, Pitta Prithvi. Vayu, if it is Vata, Vata Prithvi. So these are three sounds of Prithvi Tattva. Vata Pitta Kapha of the right nostril. Vata Pitta Kapha of the left nostril. Vata Pitta Kapha of the Shunya Nadi. So these are enormous prolific swaras. Finishing the last the cycle, let go and come up for a while. Come up for a while. So like Vata Pitta Kapha have proportion, not that the Vata is exalted, unless it is Vikara. There will be some combinations, Vata Kapha, Pitta Kapha, Kapha Pitta, etc. etc. Similarly here, sometimes you have this, even if you don't do pranayam, sometimes Prithvi Tattva will be going on. It's a Prithvi breathing or Tej, Vayu breathing, up breathing, Akash breathing is going to take place on its own, even if you don't do yoga. Because in 1 hour, all the five tattvas have to run through your breathing. Whether you are unconscious or conscious, whether you are awake or sleepy, dormant, the chakra is going to operate. And therefore, the nostrils, according to in Yoga Shastra, which a common man doesn't know, it's a very intricate swara yantra. It handles our swaras. Now, suppose on a day you are excited, and then naturally it is Prithvi. It will be one kind of sound. Because excitement will overpower. Your excitement will overpower. If you are depressed, the depression will overpower. So state of mind, which is in your hand or which is in the hands of the situation, that is also going to interfere. So depression is not in your hands. Situation creates depression. Excitement is not in your hands. It creates. Situation creates. You don't have excitement button in the brain. You push it and you are excited. You require stimulus outside. Is that right? If you don't have stimulant outside which is exciting, how will you get excited? You can't push excitement center in the brain and say, I'm excited. Either it should be chemically generated or situationally generated or chemically generated, biochemically generated, electrochemically generated, or neuroengineering. With the help of neuroengineering, it can be generated. Like there is ecstatic center in the brain. There is also depression center in the brain. In neuroengineering, they can do that. For no reason to be depressed, you can be depressed. Just as for no reason to be excited, you can be excited. For no reason for you to be ecstatic, you can be ecstatic. And I've spoken about this in the scientific experimentation. Scientists caught hold of the ecstatic center in a rat. And they kept on stimulating. They kept a lot of food around. He did not touch the food at all because it was ecstatic. And it died out of starvation. Because of ecstasy, it did not eat. And because it did not eat, it died of starvation. So this is how the neuroengineering can work. There was nothing for the rat to get excited, get that ecstasy. They stimulated ecstatic center in neuroengineering, and the rat was all the time moving in the cage ecstatically. Did not come to water, did not come to food, did not take water, did not eat food out of ecstasy. So ecstatic center can be triggered. Depression center can be triggered. No reason to be depressed. You can be made depressed by neuroengineering. or by chemical engineering. You know the laughing gas. Why do you laugh? Because of laughing gas. Is there anything to laugh? You are not in a comedy show, yet you laugh. Why do you laugh? It's a gas. So you have heard about laughing gas. So the nostril is a very sensitive organ. It's a physiological organ. There is no subject in English called psychology. It's a chaitic organ. Therefore, when yoga dealing with chitta vritti nirodha, nostril became very important because it is the cockpit. It is yogi's cockpit. And in Shiva's Parodaya, we are told, and tradition tells us, yogis were modifying Chandra Surya Nadi. They want to do something and Surya Nadi is not good. They will change it and make it Chandra Nadi operate and they will do work successfully. We fail because of all these forces not in our hands. Certain acts should be done under Surya Nadi, certain acts should be done under Chandra Nadi, certain acts should be done under Shunya Nadi. Now we cannot handle, we don't have the gadget to handle. You can do lam vam ram yam ham pranayam. There is no pranayam that way, but there is a technology of it. And simple things are suggested, like press that armpit up to one side or lie down on one side. It will change the nadi. Change your side. It will change the nadi. So there are few things which are in our hands. So when you get up, we should be charged with solar energy because we are woken up. And therefore we are told, roll to right side, stay there on the right side for a while. So the right side breathing will start take place and then Surya Nadi will be operative and then you will be more successful for your activity because Surya Nadi should be like your morning cup of tea. If you don't get, your day is spoiled. So similarly, when you are waking up, the Pingala Nadi is important because you are going to initiate activities and get into activities to Surya Nadi. So actually, this is for our benefit. We are not pilots, and therefore it is complicated. Like if you are not a pilot, flying a plane is complicated. See, if you are a pilot, it's not a complicated. All gadgets are handy. All the gadgets are a great bounty. So this is the cockpit of a yogi. Incidentally, by default, the cockpit of the aircraft is also called nose of the aircraft. It's called nose of the aircraft, not called brain of the aircraft. It should have been called brain of the aircraft, but they call it nose of the aircraft. And we have the nose similarly here. And behind that, we have entire mind psyche gadget to work, which is in the brain. To understand relationship of the nose with what is behind it. Like cockpit is having a cabin, passenger cabin, luggage cabin, cargo cabin, and therefore it's an aircraft. So behind our nose, we have the mind psyche, psychological instrument, and therefore this is the cockpit of it. And therefore in yoga, we work on our nostrils enormously. In yoga, we try to identify this marvelous organ. So if your Vata Nadi is changing to Kapha Nadi, the nostril plays important role to modify. Or if it is changing due to other reasons, it will quickly adapt to changed conditions. Solid state responses. It will not delay. Immediately it will adopt. So that's a bit about Swara. For us, Swara means tone, timbre, sound, and try to understand how many sounds are there. That's why in tradition of yoga, you are not just supposed to, many of you don't practice at all pranayama. What the Bhunesh? Like we have people called visiting professors. We have visiting students. like visiting professors, visiting students. They visit Friday evening class, pranayam done, good for next whole week. Anyway, those who practice, they will say early morning practice, ideally. Or maybe because of the occupancy, they will say, I practice in the evening. So you will select a time and you will practice during morning or evening. Ashto Prahar. You will have to do on all the three, every 3 hour yogis are, it is described. They would do pranayam every 3 hours to really become familiar with the nostril as an organ, how it changes. It is going to change. For every prahara, for every change in Vata Pitta Kapha cycle, every change in Prithvi Aptej Vayu Akash, it is going to change. So in every prahara, pranayam is done. Yogis also get up midnight and do pranayam. They don't have insomnia problem that if I wake up, I won't sleep again. That's our problem. If we woken up, we don't sleep again. रात्र गेली वाया गेली राग येतो खरं आहे ना कोणीतरी 12 वाजता उठवलं काय ते आवाज झाला झोप मोडली स्लीप डिस्टर्ब गॉन वेट फॉर नेक्स्ट following day. That's not a problem for yogis. So in the tradition of yoga, we are told yogis practice pranayam to really become literate about nostrils. How it changes between the time slots. 8 praharas are there. That means each prahara is 3 hours. Earlier time, there were no wristwatches. Patanjali did not have a wristwatch in his hand. Oh, this is 7 o'clock. They were going by that. It was time. There was no chronometer. Even with your great-grandparents or grandparents, perhaps, they did not have chronometer. But still, they were managing the time. They were realizing the time. And we had that gadgets to really count the time. Ghatika Patra was there, so we would know. Today we have wristwatch. Earlier time we had Ghatika Patra from time immemorial because they were supposed to be aware of the time and muhurta and what prahar is going on. Suppose I remove no chronometer, no smartphone, you are not guided by time. You do not know what's the time. You'll have to look into your smartphone, what's the time, or look at the watch. But then we were so much particular about time. How? Anyway, I want you to ponder over this and just at least basically understand it's a marvel that we have such a nose. And don't get irritated, agitated because we have a complicated nose. It is complicated because we are complicated. If you are simple, it will be simple. Anyway, this concept was for us. Prithvi Aptej Vayu Akash, Ida Pingala Sushumna combination, Vata Pitta Kapha. Now try to put some homework. Work on it as a project and try to find out what will you discover. Theoretically, conceptually. So that was about little nadis today. Sorry for eating up your time. But in education, it is important to talk about it, think about it. Now understand I have given this couple of lessons have gone called nostalgic pranayam, nostalgic pranayam, nostalgic, prana kriya, swaravarna kriya, nama kriya. The nostril is so fabulous organ. Our voice depends upon nose. If you have cold, anybody identifies with your voice that you have cold, you are running nose, you are cold. Anybody can identify from your voice. Why should it happen? Why the voice should change when you are cold? So if there is a celestial vocalist, you say, oh, what a great neck or throat. or vocal cords. These two are vocal cords. They don't, even vocalists do not acknowledge nostrils for their glorious voice. They only give credit to voice, the sound box. They don't credit the nose. Let me tell you, I'm a weird person, strange person. I have, when I hear music, today we can get audio videos, we can have on YouTube vocalist. You can see him. When they are singing, I see that the nose is flexible, nose moves. Just the nose is different for mouth is different, nose is different. So try to understand what is the nose, what happens to nose, what happens to nose, what happens to nose. We don't count it. We don't count it. This is because of ignorance. Yoga makes you aware. So all the Swaravarnas are in the nose. They respond, solid state responses are there. They may produce, but their nostrils respond. So prana kriya, enormous prana kriya, so 335 prana kriyas in your syllabus, then nama kriyas, countless nama kriyas. So we are used to watching the breath, or we watch the brain, or we watch the whatever is important for us. We don't watch the nose. So for a while, let's try to watch the nose. Lie down in Shavasana. For the rest of the remainder of the time, the divergence aspect is done. So I would make you get up to here. So if you want anything under the back, you may or you may not. Become familiar. Don't be the boaster, mad people, pillow mad people, support mad people. You don't imagine any pranayama. Actually, when we did our first pranayama class, there was no boaster. When first pranayama class was taken by Guruji in 1966, there was no blanket folding, there was no bolster, no pillow. We did on flat floor, spreading the blanket like a mat and lying down on it. But later it has come and you all have fallen in love with a bolster or pillow or support. And that's for your chest only. You think it's for your chest. Okay. And for all of you, as you have a lot of space, keep your arms spread sideways because that's a major conditioner. Horizontal arms, hands in line with the shoulder. Adjust them, position them, and then place them. Don't just keep spread the arms. Position your dorsal, shoulder blades, etc. Upper arms, extend them, and then place them. Slowly get focused to your breath in the nostrils. Breathing in the nostrils. Watch your nostrils. Watch your nostrils while your breathing is normal or almost spontaneous mechanical. I'm not saying that you must deepen your breath. Settle down to normal voluntary breathing rather than normal involuntary breathing. Normal voluntary breathing. So little marginally it will be conditioned because it is voluntary. I am nowhere suggesting a deeper inhalation or deeper exhalation. Now let's try to understand how much our nostril is vagendriya, vachik organ, kriya, the organ of the vachik kriya. We know our mouth is organ of vachik kriya, but let's try to understand how much the nostril, nose, in the vicinity of the nose and the vicinity of the nose, how much it is vachik kriya. Now silently utter as you inhale, as you exhale. Breathing is normal. So it can be one for inhalation, one for exhalation. I'm not asking you to deepen the breath. Watch your nostril. How it is, what's the configuration for how the silent utterance is done by the, not only mouth, but done by the nose, by nostril. Watch your membrane, septum, carpet, floor of the nostril, tip of the nose, roof of the nose, and the vicinity of the nose, around the nostril. Ah, is the nostril different? Ah, so if you want clarity, you can juxtapose followed by ah. If you want to have better clarity, then you will know nose is different than ah nose. Although it is silent utterance, nose and nostril is different than ah nose and nostril. It is such a versatile organ, such a flexible organ, such a multitasker organ with enormous potentials and resources. E, third vowel. So watch how the inhalation, exhalation flows for E. So you have a couple of cycles for E and watch them. Try to read the line work of your breathing in the nostrils and nose. The breathing will be scribbling the nasal part, like child scribbles on a piece of paper or on a slate. E. So you are at liberty to compare E with and E with R. So you will have better clarity. Ooh, ooh. So you know that Vaikhari utterance or expressed utterance or oral utterance is by mouth. And for silent utterance, we don't need that oral organ because we are not, there is no oratory. So it's silent utterance. But see the nostril. So also when it is a Vaikhari, the nose is participant, the vital participant. If your nose is arrested, if your nose, you block your nose, then you know get the nasal tone of your voice. But if you don't allow the nostrils to be flexible, you will not be able to speak. Ooh, read the nose, read the nostrils. To understand how much it is oratory organ, silent oratory organ. Indeed, therefore, it is also oratory organ where it is speech. I Vaikhari. A. So look at the graphics. Look at the design. Your nostrils in kaleidoscope. Your in-breath, out-breath in kaleidoscope. A. So this is a reminder of nostalgic pranayam class. Nostalgic pranayam class. I. I as in iPhone, item, I, not I. I, O, as in coke, as in dope. O, as in soap. Ow, read the nostrils. Their act, their response, their participation, and the graphics. Earlier I said about sound. Now these are graphics. Ow. Um. Now, if you know the Swara Kriya, That is the classes of K, T, 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 P, Y. You can also use them. K, K, G, 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 K, K, G, G, G. For one in breath, one out breath. K, K, G, G, G. K, K, G, G, G. Ka, Kha, Ga, Ga, Ga. Ka, Kha, Ga, Ga, Ga. Ka, Kha, Ga, Ga, Ga. Ki, Khi, Gi, Gi, Gi. If you know it, you can proceed that way. For others, I am telling them because they do not know by heart. Ki, Khi, Gi, Gi, Gi. So that's the class of K. Ku, Khu, Gu, Gu, Gu. Ku, Khu, Gu, Gu, Gu. So we have to develop literacy about this. Nasal movement, nasal participation, nasal shapes and nasal forms, nasal involvement, response, impact, influence, etc. Ke, khe, ge, ge, nge. Ke, khe, ge, ge, nge. Kai, khai, gai, gai, ngai. Kai, khai, gai, gai, ngai. Kai, khai, gai, gai, ngai. Ko, kho, go, gho, ngo. Those who know vernacular, you can go to church class and proceed that way. Ko, kho, go, gho, ngo. Câu, khâu, gâu, khâu, ngo. Câu, khâu, gâu, khâu, ngo. Căm, khăm, găm, khăm, ngâm. Căm, khăm, găm, khăm, ngâm. Kaha, kaha, gaha, gaha, gaha. Then comes the class of Tocho, Tasha, Dasa, TCZZ, so on and so forth. That's the class of K. Those who know vernacular, go for it. Understand for pranayama, the Vachikriya has an important place which is neglected only in classical times. They were making you utter these sounds. Today, all pranayama is slow breathing, deep breathing, chest breathing, abdominal breathing, brain breathing, back breathing. So, class of T, which is T, Th, Z, Z, class of T, T, Th, D, D, N, class of T, T, Th, D, D, N, class of P, 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 B, B, M, and then class of Y, Y, R, L, V, Sh, Sh, S, H, L, Ksha. And therefore, you must be familiar with this. Learn to utter them clearly. When you utter them clearly, faultlessly, with phonetics, then silent utterance will be proper. Now, for a while, let's try to do the Panchatattvas. Lam, inhale, exhale, lam, find out. Couple of cycles until I suggest the next one to find out the line work of lam, line work of wam in the nose, the flow, where to where, lam, where to where, wam, there will be shift, where to where, origination, destination, route, ROUTE will change, wam, ram, Yum. And hum. So this is Bija Mantra Kriya. Back home, we can try Tattva Prana Kriya and Tattva Kriya. I won't take it now here. You can try that back home. See, such a versatile organ, such a flexible organ, such a yielding organ, wieldy organ, we neglect it and we go for other organs to be managed, handled, administered, etc., etc., administrated, etc. So that is about prana kriyas and tattva kriya. Now for a while we'll do the nama kriya. Jnaneshwar Maharaj uh, gave us the nama. That means it is not that he devised it. He found it. It was there. He found it. Ramakrishna Hari. So proceed for Ramakrishna Hari. Inhalation, Ramakrishna Hari. Exhalation. Or you can use the whole nama for in breath, out breath. Watch your nose and nostrils for Ramakrishna Hari. Ramakrishna Hari. Accommodate your breath in the Ramakrishna Hari. Shadakshari. Six-lettered Ramakrishna Hari. So Gnaneshwar selected this 750 years back and gave it to us. It was already there, but he selected that and gave it to us. The Varkari Sampradaya, Ram Krishna Hari. Not that it was not formulated by him because it was already there. The Nama was already there from time immemorial, but he picked up one and gave it to us. Ramakrishna Hari, Ramakrishna Hari. Mirabai gave another one. That means she found another one. She found, that means it was there, and she gave it. That is Ramakrishna Govinda. Ramakrishna Govinda. Ramakrishna Govinda. So it is seven lettered. 2 plus 2 plus 3. Earlier it was 2 plus 2 plus 2, six lettered. This is Ramakrishna Govinda. This was found by Mirabai, Ramakrishna Govinda. Ramakrishna Govinda. For our time, it was Mirabai. Earlier time, it was somebody else. Ramakrishna Govinda. Swarupananda Swami of Powers. Ramakrishna Hari Govinda. Ramakrishna Hari Govinda. Ramakrishna Hari Govinda. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3, 9. Navakshari. Ramakrishna Hari Govinda. Ramakrishna Hari Govinda. So you can feed it to entire in breath, out breath also. Because as the letters get increased, it's not that the whole inhalation you can necessarily give one Ramakrishna Hari Govinda and the exhalation Ramakrishna Hari Govinda. It can be shared by in breath, out breath. Nama can be shared by in breath, out breath. More so is the case when the aksharas increase. When the length increases, they will have to be shared. Sometimes they have to be shared by multiple cycles also. So Ramakrishna Hari Govinda. Swarupananda of Powers. Ramdas Swami, Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 13 lettered. It can be shared by your in breath, out breath. Don't try to fight to put it in breath and then in out breath as well. It can be shared as well. Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. See, the nostrils are so important organs in Nama Sadhana, Japa Sadhana, Mantra Sadhana. They don't only breathe. So with Madhyama, you can use the inhalative breath as well. While in Vaikhari, you can't use the inhalative breath. You have to only use the exhalative breath. Then there is again a larger Nama, which you are familiar with it. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. When the case comes that more than one breath shares it, you have advantage. Such as Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare. That's Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare. So you have this advantage to play with this once you are familiar. So Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, or you can divide it Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. It can be also divided. So also there is another longer one. Ramakrishna Hari Govinda Narayana Hari Hari. 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 So it can be also put into multiple cycles where you can have different prosodies, that is stresses. Then the one which was given 5,000 years ago by Alvars of Kaveri Delta, Achyutananta Govinda, Achyutananta Govinda, Achyutananta Govinda, Achyutananta Govinda. So it can take one cycle. It's not inhalation, one utterance, exhalation, one utterance. You can also put it in one cycle. You can put it in multiple cycles in case it is too long for you. But this is not too long. Achyutananta Govinda, Achyutananta Govinda, Achyutananta Govinda. And Adi Shankaracharya gave in 17th century, which is in a beautiful meter, prosody meter. Achyutam Keshavam Vamanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari. Achyutam Keshavam Vamanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari. Achyutam Keshavam Vamanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari. That was given by Shankaracharya. दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपाद वल्लभ दिगंबरा, दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपाद वल्लभ दिगंबरा, दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपाद वल्लभ दिगंबरा। अवनिदत्त संप्रदाय। So also the Varkari Sampradaya, like Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari. So 6 plus 4, 10. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari. So also Varkari Sampradaya gave Jai Jai Vasudeva Hari, Jai Jai Vasudeva Hari, Jai Jai Vasudeva Hari. Jai Jai Panduranga Hari, Jai Jai Panduranga Hari, Jai Jai Panduranga Hari. So different mystics have given different such uh, Taraka mantras. Rama Krishna Govinda, 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 Krishna Rama Govinda, Krishna Rama Govinda, Krishna Rama Govinda, Krishna Rama Govinda. When Vyasa in Santaradoprishan, from there he borrowed and he gave in Vishnu Dharmottar Purana. Which was combination of Rama and Krishna. So also Raghupati Raghava Rajaram Patita Pavana Sitaram. Raghupati Raghava Rajaram Patita Pavana Sitaram. Then that Vishnu Dharmottar Puranam Vyasa. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. So maybe 4 5 cycles of breathing will become one cycle. It will consume this mantra will be consuming 4 5 cycles, so that 4 5 cycles become one cycle. So Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So also there is another one. Krishnananda Mukunda Murare, Vamana Madhava Govindam, Sridhara Keshava Raga Vishnu, Lakshmi Nayaka Narsimha. Krishnananda Mukunda Murare, Vamana Madhava Govindam, Sridhara Keshava Raga Vishnu, Lakshmi Nayaka Narsimha. So further expanded Nama. Then Hanuman, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. So you're expected to watch the nose, participation, influence, contribution, impact. Let go. Slowly turn to the right. Stay on the right. So actually, nostril is a vagendriya. It is organ of speech as well. It's not just organ of breathing or organ of olfactory organ. Most of the animals they use the nose only as an olfactory organ. They don't breathe through the nose. They breathe through the mouth. All animals, cattle, they breathe through the mouth. They don't need nose to breathe. They use the nose as olfactory organ. They have extraordinary smell sensation. They can identify easily what they want, the prey. Slowly come up. There is the first chapter of Chandogya Upanishad. There is a Vidya called Udgita Vidya. Udgita means Om. So that the gods have lost battles with Asuras several times. They have lost the battle. When they come back to Prajapati, they say, what is this? We are losing the battle every time. So give us some, we have come here for some guidance. Please guide us. So he says Udgita. He said, what is Udgita? Om. They go. And they start doing Upasana. Om, Om. Again they are defeated. Again they are defeated. They come back. I said, this is not worth. He said that Om should be done with Mukhya Prana. They said they did orally, we did in the mind, we did with our buddhi, we did all that and it all failed. So he said, do it with Mukhya Prana. What is Mukhya Prana? He says this pranayamic act. So when they started doing Om, incorporated with the breath, then they came out victorious. So that's called Udgita Vidya, Om, with Mukhya Prana. And therefore, this is a very important organ for Nama Sadhana. We think it will also be done in the mind. But in pranayama, if it is done, it is with the Mukhya Prana. And then that has special efficacy. Anyway, understand how versatile is this organ. Enormous functions. It has enormous functions not identified by anatomy. Go and consult ENT and ask him about the nose. Find out what all he will tell about the nose. Anyway, thanks for your patience. Sorry for unusual class. Put the thing back.